Hello folks, this is another Raw video from your favorite YouTube Scout Draft Raw, and in today's video we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Now if you've been following me or this is your first time seeing me, I'm right now doing a 32 for 32 series. That is 32 NFL team drafts for 32 straight days. So obviously this video coming out, yeah, it's pretty late from when the draft happened. But like I said, it's for 32 straight days. It's one team each and every day. So that's why it seems so late. As of right now, I've already done the AFC North and the NFC North. And I've also done the East teams from the AFC East and the NFC East. Right now, I am in obviously the NFC West. And I will be doing the AFC West after this. We'll start with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions. But anyway, this is about the Arizona Cardinals. So without further ado, let's go with their first pick. They selected safety / linebacker hybrid Isaiah Simmons. Now, with Isaiah Simmons, he is one of the more polarizing prospects in this draft class. There's a chance he has kind of big bust potential. And what I mean when I say that is that a lot of players that have come out of college recently and I don't like following trends. I just want to say that. So this is not something, I'm not trying to say this just because, when following the trend of, when the rest of these guys come up, they've not done that good. But we look back at guys like Hassan Reddick that was drafted by the Cardinals. We look back at who was pretty hybridish. We look back at, who's the other defender I was just thinking about? The Jabril Peppers, who's safety linebacker situation, drafted out of Michigan. These hybrid players tend to not have what you would call a true position. And being a hybrid player is not like an edge guy. Like, I'm a defensive end in the 4-3, but I'm a outside linebacker in the 3-4. That's not hybrid. Hybrid are the players that it's like an H-back. It's like when James Casey, who used to play for the Texans, just to name an offensive guy, he was a fullback / tight end, / kind of like a slot receiver in a way, however you want to look at it. Some of these hybrid players just don't work out as good as you want them to be. And Isaiah Simmons, I'm not going to say he's not going to work out, but we'll see. This is a situation where I don't know if the Cardinals still play a 3-4. They were playing a 3-4. Maybe they switch back to a 4-3. If they are in a 4-3, it could be a perfect system for them to play an outside linebacker in that 4-3. If they're still in the 3-4, I don't think he's the prototypical linebacker that you're going to want in the middle. I definitely wouldn't put him on the outside. And if that's the case, if it is a 3-4, then he's a safety. And I think he could be a really, really good strong safety, which he's already been in college. To me, his natural position is safety. It's actually not linebacker. But if it's a 4-3 and y'all will play him at linebacker, I do think that is not that bad of an idea to have him at the linebacker position. I think that he has a unique explosiveness. I think that he has pretty good ball skills. Obviously he had the speed is there, looking at the 40 time. Also, the tackling ability, whether it's just a regular wrap-up tackle or just hitting the guy really, really hard. He's even shown an ability to rush the passer, which is kind of weird, looking at the type of player he is. But he is a 6'4", 240-pound guy. So it's not that far-fetched to think that he can't do that, but that's what we've seen in college. So we don't know if he'll be able to do it in the NFL, but this is something that he can bring to the Arizona Cardinals defense. And I think that this was actually a really, really good pick for them. Y'all picked a guy that, to me, probably is where he should have been picked in terms of where I rated him as a player. I think that he has a good overall round set of tools about him that can make him a eventual Pro Bowler, maybe even, I don't want to say Hall of Famer, but he has the size, the speed, the instincts, the mentality, all the things you look for to being possibly eventually a Hall of Famer. He has that type of dog in him that you don't see a lot often of players coming out of college. Last time I seen that type of dog was in like a guy like Jalen Ramsey. So this is something where, I think the Arizona Cardinals did themselves a really, really good service of choosing Isaiah Simmons. And I think that, like I just said, it was a great pick by y'all. With their second pick, in the third round, they selected one of my favorite offensive tackles in this draft class. And that was Josh Jones, offensive tackle from Houston. I think Josh Jones is if I look at my notes, he is a natural left tackle. He has really good feet, long arms, and sometimes he uses the leverage against a pass rusher. And what I mean is I say that is that a lot of times a guy tries to speed rush, he just uses good feet and his arm length to push the guy around the pocket. If a guy tries to bull rush him, he uses that leverage where they're trying to attack so hard, and he uses his length to just push the player back down, where you're attacking so hard, you're putting all your force into it that you end up falling. And that's what I mean when I say he uses that type of leverage against defenders and edge rushers. And I think that's what makes him, to me, a really, really good offensive tackle in this draft. I just read somewhere where it said something about, teams didn't rate him as highly, and he actually went where teams thought he was going to go. They thought maybe he would probably sneak into the first round, maybe early second, but they had him rated as where he actually went, which was the 72nd pick in the third round. But I will say this, and also one thing that's a little confusing, I didn't know DJ Humphries was the Cardinals left tackle, and they're saying that Josh Jones is probably going to be right tackle. To me personally, I would switch that. Humphries to me should be on the right side, and I would put Jones on the left side. Now I know he's a rookie, but I do think that his overall skill set and size, with those skill set and size, I think that he can be a really, really good left tackle in this league, and a better left tackle than what you would get from Humphries. I'm not saying Humphries is a bad player. I'm just saying I think that his skill set and his length and everything fits better on the left side, not the right side. With the very next pick, y'all actually chose another player that I was a huge fan of in the fourth round, and that was Leki Fotu, defensive tackle from Utah. Looking at my notes, he's an aggressive, quick, very powerful. He moves well. He's good jump, good burst, and punch, and he's good at shedding. I didn't see a defensive tackle as good as him besides obviously Brown and Kinlaw. I thought that he was possibly the third, maybe fourth best defensive tackle in this draft. I believe there was another guy. I can't remember. I forgot who the other guy named. It just keeps slipping my mind of who I really, really like. It's not Neville Gallimore or the Jordan Elliott. It's neither one of those two. But with Leki Fotu is that he brings a lot of, like I say, he brings a lot of aggression. He brings the quickness. He brings pass rushing ability. He brings the ability to stop the run. I think that this is and if y'all are running a 4-3, this is a really, really good pick for y'all, because I think that y'all getting a defensive tackle that can be somewhat of a Pro Bowler. I think that he has that skill set to really make a difference, and actually make a difference as a rookie. That's how good I think he is. I think that y'all got a huge steal, not just picking Josh Jones, but also coming back and picking Leki Fotu in the fourth round. This draft already for y'all started off greatly. This is a great draft as of right now. Now, when it comes to y'all last three picks, your next guy in the fourth round, Rashard Lawrence, LSU defensive tackle. Wasn't a big fan of him. I kind of felt as though he was just a little bit too robotic. You watch him in the combine drills, and I don't hold combine to that high of a standard, but certain things I want to see. And when I watch him in the combine drills, it's pretty bad. Then when I actually see him on tape, it's even worse. I mean, actually, probably the combine drills was worse than the way he looked on tape. But he wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad player. He just wasn't. He wasn't what I thought. Like, if you can get a Leki Fotu in the fourth round, Rashard Lawrence should be like a 6th rounder. And that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Just in terms of those two players and where I would rank them, I think Leki is just way higher than Rashard. I would have picked Leki in the 2nd round, and Rashard, 5th, 6th round type of guy. And I just think that overall, he doesn't have the most smoothest pass rushing ability. I think that he's a solid run stuffer, but he is a defensive tackle, so you expect him to be at least pretty stout against the run. But I just felt as though I wanted to see more from him, especially him playing at LSU. But it is what it is. LSU, to me, don't make great defensive tackles. A lot of those guys that come out don't end up being that great anyway. And he's just another guy along the list that just is kind of meh. So it is what it is. But that was probably the only pick in y'all draft I didn't like, because the next two picks that y'all had, I have to say, really, really good picks. In the 6th round, y'all chose Evan Weaver. And when I talk about these players, I talk about these players as potential of being starters, no matter where they pick. Evan Weaver is a high motor, high energy guy. To me, he's a complete linebacker, but just needs to work on his shedding. I don't think he's that great in terms of going one-on-one in coverage neither. But that's not going to be as a huge concern because I think that he drops in zone pretty well, just moves really well. I think his biggest thing is that just attacking, shedding, taking the offensive lineman and then be able to get off the block to make the tackle. I think that he has that high motor, high energy that he brings, that, he runs sideline to sideline, runs all over the field, making tackles here, there, and whatever, yada, yada. But it's just the certain athletic stuff that's going to hurt him. And then the simple fact is that he's not a great shedder. He's not a great block shedder. So, that's something that he needs to work on. But I think that he's a really, really good linebacker. And I'm not going to say he'll be able to start in his rookie season, but he's a guy within 1, 2, maybe even 3 years to be a pretty good contributor to an Arizona Cardinals team. And then with the very last pick in the 7th round, y'all chose running back from Arizona State, Eno Benjamin. I was surprised by Eno Benjamin. I didn't watch Eno Benjamin before the draft, and I ended up watching him after to, obviously do this video. Man, crazy elusiveness. Diddly jump cut and spin move. I mean, this guy, that shake that he does. Oh my gosh, that shake is crazy. And then the spin moves that you see of him breaking those tackles. I haven't seen. Last year, Devin Singletary was a guy that had the crazy jump cuts, but it was no diddly spin move. This guy brings both of those. And I thought Devin Singletary last year was the best running back. So for Eno Benjamin to be this good, and I think that he got hampered by his offensive line. If he had a good offensive line, I mean, this dude he's an amazing talent, and kudos to the Arizona Cardinals for, obviously he's in your home state, so you should know who he is, but kudos to y'all and that coaching staff of picking this dude. I think he's a tough runner, tough, hard runner, and he will stick his nose in that trash. When it comes down to it, he's going to stick it straight up the middle and try to get those tough yards. I really, really like his toughness that he brings and how hard he runs. Even though he's a small guy, he brings something that, in terms of the jump cut and spin move, he brings something that I'm sorry. Somebody's calling me upstairs. But that kind of distracted me. But he brings that. I was thinking Steve Smith as a running back, whereas he has the elusiveness, but he's hard, he's tough, and he's just gonna get there. He's going to fight for those extra yards. So, anyway, that was the very last pick for the Arizona Cardinals. If you want to see more of me, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification bell. When you do, check off all and not personalize. YouTube is doing this thing where it's in personalized and you won't get all the notifications. Check the button on notification that says all. Also, share this video. And if you want to know about any of the future videos or see any of the past videos, look in the description box below. Once again, my name is Draft Raw. I thank all you guys for watching. Goodbye.